Let us see what Python looks like. What we are looking at here is our first program of Python, which is first of all giving you the introduction to comments, how they are made. Single line comments are preceded by hash sign. Multi-line comments have triple quotes, triple single quote, and the comment goes like this. So multi-line comments, single line comments are there. In Python, where there is no data type kind of thing, variables are not type defined. So a variable may store a value, say a string, it becomes a string type. When it stores a number, it becomes numeric. If you think that a value which is in double quotes but a number, you might need a conversion. Otherwise, intrinsic conversion is done by Python. So as a norm, what I do is I always declare my fixed values in uppercase. Like in my example, the fixed values which are called constants. Constants are those values which I'm not going to change in my program. And to differentiate them from normal variables, I keep them in uppercase, their names. So size of the over in cricket match, 6 balls, 4 is equal to 4, 6 is equal to 6. Duck means out on 0, duck is equal to 0. Maximum overs being played in this match is 20. So max underscore overs is a constant. So these values are logically not going to change. So I've given them a name and those names are being used in place of these values. Variables can be declared like this. They should have some relevant name. Of course, they cannot start with a numeric value, but they should start not a special character also. They should start with a letter followed by a number or a special character or underscore like this. Special characters like at the rate, avoid them, they won't work. Hash won't work. Hash is a keyword here. So I'm not going into those very basics of that. You already know that goes across commonly across all the languages. I have two variables declared here: balls played and runs made. And not only I have declared them, I have initialized them also. I've given them the initial value 0. And a small if is being used here. Now here you have to pay attention because if keyword is there, very fine. Runs made, a variable is being checked by the constant duck. Duck means 0. So if the runs made are duck, some message is being printed. Print function is used to display some message. Now, how do I know that this print function is the part of this if? That comes in Python by this tab. As you see, whenever you press a tab, that is called an indentation. Any indented line is the part of the if block or whatever construct you are using. It is a part of that construct if it is indented. So if I do something like this, that means now if is blank, it is doing, it is not, it is good for nothing, and print is not the part of if. But when I put a tab, print is part of if I do something else and put a tab, this is also the part of if. And I do something like this, the third print is not the part of if because it is not indented. See, now it is, now it is not. Something like this will not work. You cannot mix the things. Whatever is the part of this if has to be continuously consecutive statements have to be together. So it's like this. This is the integrated development environment for Python, a plain IDE. The program is opened by file open. I run it by pressing F5 or run module in run menu. And here is, I'm missing something, I think. So I get rid of this. I open the file again. A small mistake was there. So this message is coming. So long mate till the next match. Why it is coming? Because of this if. Now if runs made is equal to 10, then this message will not come because this is the part of if. See, no output is there. So that is just to show you that indentation decides which statement is part of which construct. Next program here, we look at it. How we take the input here. In Python, we use input method to take the input. Whatever prompt you have to give, it will go as an argument within double quotes inside input function. Whatever user enters comes into balls, comes into the variable waiting on the left hand side of assignment operator here. Whatever input returns is in a string form, it is not in numeric form, but right now we are not doing any arithmetic, so that's fine. And we are printing it here. See how the output is combined by the help of comma. In print function, you can use comma to pass as many values as you like. Some values are literal in double quotes, some are variables. So this is how you take the input from the user, and this is how you display it back. Like this. Now here, number of balls played and number of runs made is accepted by the from the user, displayed back, and runs made is divided by balls played. / is your division operator, and the performance is displayed back. Clear and simple. Just like in other languages. Now see what is happening here. It is not ready to divide. It is not ready to treat 12 and 3 as numbers. It is saying I cannot perform division on strings. As I told you, input does not return numbers, it returns strings. So this operation of division failed. Let us see how it can be taken care of. The conversion is taken care of by the help of int function. Int function in Python takes a value which has a nature of a string type and it converts it into its numeric form. So balls played, thanks to int, converted into numeric balls played. Now the balls played here, the nature of balls played is text, the string. Here the nature of balls played is integer. Runs made is integer. And now this division operator will happily perform the division. So division is done. Int is used for conversion of a value to its integer form. Now this sample is showing you how we deal with strings in Python. So that is no different from other languages. If you have a string, here I have the string archipelago. Archipelago, ARCHIPELAGO. Now this string is, every letter of this string is treated as being on a position of an index, which is zero based. A is 0, R is 1 and so on. A string is created like this, a variable is equal to the string in double quotes. Now whatever is the string variable you have, you can use the index offset like this in square brackets. str0 means the very first letter. str -1, you notice -1 is the negative value, -9 is the negative value, 10 is a positive value, -10 is a positive value, is a negative value. Let us run this. Let us compare the output. str0 is giving me A. Fine, archipelago A. str -1 is giving me O. -1 means the last letter on the other side, on the right hand side. -9 is, if you count from right hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is C. C is given here. How O is coming? O is again str10 is the 10th letter, that is O. -1 is also O because you are counting from right hand side. R is coming because of -10. R is this one. 9 was C, 10 is R. So whenever you are using minus, the negative value, that is from right hand side. -1 is the first letter. Now when there is no -0. So -1, the story begins from -1. -1 is rightmost. -2 is second last. -3 is third last and so on. So here it is showing you the index, how you access the index in a string. Now we see how if keyword is used in decision making. As I told you earlier, you know the importance of indentation. These two lines are the part of this if and these two of this if. Rest of the program is fairly simple. Accepting the number of balls played. See here I have directly converted the value entered by input into its integer form. So balls played eventually will be integer type. Number of balls is accepted. If the person is played, if the value is less than 0, then an error message is coming, some output is coming and balls played is set to 0. If balls played is negative, set the balls played to 0. If balls played is more than the number of balls to be played, Maximum overs into over size will give you the total balls to be played, 120 in this case. 120 balls is possible to be played in this match. If the person, I'm not going for exceptional situation like wide ball and no ball, etc. If balls played is greater than the possible number of balls in the match, then we are saying too many balls played. Again, balls played is set to 0. So we are validating the input and eventually we are displaying the output. This is how if works. As many indented lines if consecutively will be the part of that if. Plain and simple. If there is if, there would definitely be else. Also notice there is a small colon in front of these keywords. If followed by condition, followed by colon. That is very important. I missed it earlier. Colon is very important, denoting the making the entire syntax of Python here. Else does not come with the condition, so simply colon is put after it. So else is taking care of something else like displaying some other kind of message. If this condition is not true, else will execute, as usual in other languages also. This if has no else. So that means else is optional as usual. You can use it if you require it. And there is a shortcut. If you have to combine so many conditions you have to check, then you go for a small keyword elif. So if some condition is there, otherwise if you have to check more, elif also goes with some condition, elif some condition, and eventually else. So here multiple conditions are being checked with if. Elif is the short form of else if, and eventually you have else. So if followed by condition, elif followed by condition, elif followed by condition, else, like this. When we talk about multiple conditions, we can check them by the help of if and elif, but they can also be checked by the help of logical operators and, or, and not. See in this example, we are checking for two conditions. We have accepted the balls played by the player from the user and runs made. Balls played and runs made. Now see what is happening here. If not balls played and not runs made, that means 0. If balls played, not balls played means 0, and not runs made is 0. That means this player did not get a chance to play at all. So poor guy, better luck next time. So here we are checking if in case of condition 0 is treated as false, not 0 is treated as not false means true. So if user has entered 0, runs made is 0. So not 0, not runs made means user has played 0 balls, user has made 0 runs. So not operator and operator combines the conditions, two conditions together, and operator ensures that it checks for both the conditions should be true. If both the conditions are not true, and will return false as usual. And, or, and not operators are coming in Python as simple keywords and or and not. Not, and, or. That's why Python is said to be very close to English language and easy to learn because it is readable. This example is making you familiar with OR operator also. The precedence of operators is taken care of by extra additional parenthesis. See here, if the user has played more than 30 balls, that is 5 overs, 5 6 are 30. If the player has played more than 30 balls, more than 5 overs, but he should have made runs more than the balls played. He must be a good player. The number of balls played should be less than the runs made. And he should have made at least 40 runs. See the tough condition. Player should have played 5 overs at least, should have made at least 40 runs, and those runs should exceed the balls played. Then he will be considered as a good player. Then we will say well played. Or that player has made a century. Simply, if that player has made a century, sare gunah maaf, all the mistakes are forgotten. That guy has hit a century, well played. If he is not able to hit a century, then this is a tough condition. Three conditions have to be satisfied to earning him the slogan well played. So this is how it is being showed to you: and operator, or operator. The logical combination of the conditions to make decision.